question. So I started out, I had one of these boards from one of your classes and it had an undercoat on it. And then when we started doing the values, I started with the terracotta and it's all really dark now. Can I take water and pull up some of the primer? Or do I
only if it hasn't completely dried yet, which after all this time, it's probably already completely dried. But you know what? For years before I started doing the gold, using the gold as part of an underpainting, I worked on just terracotta. I love that terracotta color. And I did most of my paintings from like, I don't even know, 2016, 17, thereabouts, just on terracotta.
Mm-hmm. So don't worry.
You don't have 100% terracotta on there. I saw you still have that little highlight.
Yeah, I left the highlights. Yeah.
So, what you might want to do, because your terracotta is such a dramatic contrast from your highlight, you might want to just put more of the gold primer into your highlights to cut down on that contrast a little bit. So your underpainting will be darker than some of ours, but what you want, values are relative. Everything is relative, especially values. If your shadow on the face itself is going to be represented by the terracotta, just darken those highlights some so that the relationship between the two values is a little closer.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And, when you put pastel on there, it's still going to look lovely.
Okay. Not worry.
Yeah.
Happy accident, maybe.
Yeah. And, if anybody wants a more detailed answer to that question, can you lift up your primers? I've done it. I've corrected mistakes in my underpaintings a couple different ways before. You can use, you might be able to use a wet rag, like if you just have an actual rag, not a paper towel, not a brush or anything, but a rag, dip it in water and scrub.
Okay.
Scrub really hard.
Okay.
That might lift some up. It also might lift up the gold that's underneath it.
Okay.
I've also used sandpaper sometimes, but you got to be careful with sandpaper because that really, if you get too far down, it'll lift up not just all of the primer, but start some of the surface of the gator board. So you have to go kind of judiciously with it. The other thing that I've done, is I've used gesso. After it's dry, just gesso over the parts that I didn't want to have that dark, make them white again, and then start over with the gold. But that's a long, tedious process. So